Illuminati this, Illuminati that. We all know the classic Illuminatis. And today, we're going to expose them all. In 1995, there was a man named Fritz Springmeier. Springmeier? He released a book, or more like a bunch of volumes, called Bloodlines of Illuminati. And in there it was like a bunch of different volumes and they all combined into one now. And it is called Bloodlines of Illuminati. And on that book or volume, he exposed how there's like 13 top families who control the whole world basically. And how they control billions of people. I'm gonna keep this very brief because it's like a 300-page long book or like a bunch of volumes. You can go study if you want. I'll leave a link in the description below. But now I'm just gonna keep it very brief and just gonna say the names and roughly what they do. The Illuminati, don't hunt me down. This is just information. This allegedly is what they do. I don't know anything for sure though. In today's world, we got visible leaders, right? We got them CEOs, the presidents, the prime ministers. But are they really the controlling? But we all know. People are getting more and more aware nowadays with them Instagrams, TikToks. They post more and more information about these so-called Illuminatis. 13 families are the peak of humanity. Not peak of humanity, but the peak of all riches, where they control finance, lands. They control global finance, occultism, politics that spans centuries. Now, this story begins in 1776 with the foundation of Bavarian Illuminati. It was created by a name called Adam Weishaupt, and it was created in Germany. Now, the group originally had Enlightenment ideas, right? Politics, reason, secularism. They didn't want religious influence on politics, but the Illuminatis were banned. Over time, conspiracy theorists started to conclude they started to match all these families into family wealth, royal bloodlines, bankers, industrialists. They made it onto one big giant theory called the Illuminatis we have today. 13 families who are the Illuminati and they control the world. And there is 5 core families inside the Illuminati. And there is actually a bunch of like sub-families, subcategories, like hundreds, maybe even thousands of them, that control like the branches, right? But they control the world. But like the top, there's 13. And 5 of them are the core inside of it. The Rockefeller bloodline. Now, you may have heard of the Rockefellers. They're one of the popular ones. Jay-Z, I think, has his thing is called Rockefellers. The Rockefeller family actually rose to power with a man called John D. Rockefeller. With oil, of course. At one point, Rockefeller controlled nearly 90% of American oil and refining industry. And they have massive influence over everything. You know how the Rothschild control the Europe? The Rockefellers control America. Now they claim, a lot of the theorists claim they influence central banking, pharmaceutical industries, education systems, and even global organizations. The DuPont family. Now, the DuPont family is one of the wealthiest families in America due to chemicals and manufacturings. Now, their company produced explosives, bunch of industrial materials, and bunch of other technologies. Now, the theorists obviously claim they used wartime and they took advantage of the wars and they built connections and they took influence on the government to make sure they have control over the people or the whole country. Whether that's true or not, it probably is true, but the influence is undeniable. The Astor family. I also got a new mic, by the way. Let me know how the quality is. The Astor family builds wealth from trading and Manhattan real estate. Even by the 1800s, they were one of the richest family in America, just by real estates and trading. The Astor family is also known as like a landlord of New York. The Kennedy family. Now, this is obvious when we already heard of the JF Kennedy, the President JF Kennedy, his assassinations. Now, some believe that JF Kennedy obviously opposed the secret power on the Illuminatis, so that's why they took him out. They believe he tried to oppose them. They didn't want certain country to hold nuclear power, but they at least didn't like it, so they took him out. I don't know too much about the Kennedy family, but Fritz claimed they're one of the elite families. The Onassis bloodline. Now, the Onassis family built one of the largest shipping empires. A man named Aristotle Onassis, and one of the Onassis, got married to one of the Kennedys. Her name was Jacqueline Kennedy, and they connected the Onassis name to the Kennedy's name, and they gained more fame, more money, more influence over their family. Oh, the whole country's right. The Disney family. Now, the Disney is one of the one of the most influenced ones. We all know the Disney. We all see the cartoons, the movies, the merchandise, the whole place actually. A lot of them believe they one of the elite families. They do all these shows, everything else to keep the mass entertained and keep them distracted, to not realize what they're actually doing, to not make people aware of what's going on. They always want to keep people in the shadows, and make them distracted, I guess. Now, there is no evidence that Disney is connected to Illuminati, but there has been some symbolisms in movies they could be connected to Illuminati. But come on, man, it's Disney. Allegedly they're connected. I don't know, but there's no evidence. It's not me, by the way. This is just a book. Don't sue me. I got nothing. Now I'm just gonna say a bunch of them. The Lee family, the Bundy family, Collins, Freeman, Russell, Van Dyne, and Merovingian bloodlines. Now they're all connected to the Illuminati theorists, but one of the more interesting ones is the Merovingians. They were actually real Frankish kings who ruled parts of Europe during the Middle Ages, and some theorists claim that they still are alive today and controlling, still like the king behind the scenes, I guess, the real kings. Books like Holy Blood, Holy Grain help like popularize these ideas. The Russell family is linked to the foundation of Skulls and Bones at Yale, the Skulls and Bones Society at Yale. And Springmeier argues this is like a recruiting ground for the next generation of administration, I guess. And that's where they do it. The Bundys are often at the World High-Tech Intelligence. They often give aids to the President of the United States and allegedly tells him what to do. The Rothschild bloodline. Rothschild, probably one of the most famous ones. I actually saw a video of a couple of other YouTubers actually breaking into Rothschild family mansion that's been abandoned for years. They try to jump in, they try to see what's going on. It's actually a beautiful mansion, by the way. You should look up the video on YouTube. Now, the Rothschild is one of the popular ones. They like the Illuminati. What Rockefellers are in America, the Rothschild on Europe. Now, the Rothschild are claimed to be like the peak of the Illuminatis. They like one of the top. They are the top of the 13, I guess. Now, they began in the 1700s, where one of the Rothschild, Amstel Rothschild, sent their sons to different cities. There's actually a movie clip for it. Different major cities to build financing system, banks. They sent them to London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, Frankfurt. Their influence grew rapidly during the Napoleon War. And there is a thing that where Napoleon opposed them. They didn't want control. Napoleon didn't want the Rothschilds to control France, I guess, because once you go into that, that's it. There's also a thing where Fritz claims that the British family sold their breeding rights to the Rothschild during one of the wars because England was running out of money. They had to get money from the Rothschilds, and Rothschild made a deal agreement where they would get the royal family breeding agreement, allegedly, and they would get the money, and they did it. Apparently, a lot of them are Rothschild's bloodline now. Now, all these families connect, and they build and influence the world. They control it through banking, finance, politics, media and entertainment, education, secret societies. Now, many historians do argue. A lot of these theories oversimplify how these powers work. Now, Fritz claims a lot of these families get their power. They practice Satanism, which is one of the selective breeding things, which the Rothschilds did, and probably some other wealthy ones do as well. The first one is selective breeding, and the second one is mind control. Now, Fritz, he claims he gets the elites, gets people, and they have like a mind control. They work their trauma-based events and make them very loyal to the family, that they would give their life in a second to those elites, like a sleeper agents. Now, for Fritz, he believes these 13 family aren't just a club. They are a cult with a 1,000-year plan to usher in a single world order, where there is only one single religion, one single government, and single digital currency. And they want the world to make it one, to follow one single religion. And if you can guess what the religion is, good luck to you. That's all I got. I think I said all those 13 families. If not, sorry about that. Well, do let me know what you think. And so this is very brief, by the way. I shared very little information on what they actually did. I'll leave a link to the volumes in the description, so go and have a read, and do let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.